Okay, so we were talking about just with all the stressors and with the immune system being compromised, all of the possibilities that could happen, as well as some things that people could do to manage stress. And we were really focusing on stress. So you wanted to also just really kind of let people know and understand how the digestive system works and what happens with stress in the digestive system, and some pointers. Is that?
Yeah, a lot of us are used to thinking about our digestive system as one big tube. You put something in, it processes, we absorb some nutrients, and then we get rid of the waste products, which absolutely does happen in the GI tract. But there's another huge component of the immune system, or of the gastrointestinal tract function that's occurring. And, there's several different levels of that. You can think of the gastrointestinal tract as your second brain.
Right.
Because basically when your neurological system develops in utero, the same cells that end up making the brain make up the brain in your skull, a group of those kind of break off, and they make up a brain in your GI tract. So a lot of our neurotransmitters, neurohormones, are made to some degree in our GI tract, like serotonin. For instance, 90% of serotonin is actually made in our gastrointestinal tract and then has an effect on the brain via neurological systems. And another very important thing about the gastrointestinal tract is that, we have our beneficial flora, our good bacteria that have various amounts of function. It helps us digest our food. When it's in good health, those bacteria give off good chemistries that are just as important to our well-being as our own neurohormones, neurotransmitters. And when they're out of balance, they also give off chemistries which can cause things like anxiety, depression. And then, since 80% of our immune system cells reside in our GI tract, there's a huge component of immune system in our GI tract, and those all interact and then have an effect on the rest of our body. When we're talking about how stress affects our GI tract, we're talking about that nervous system, about how it affects our serotonin production, and which is our anti-anxiety, anti-depression neurohormone. It affects dopamine production, which is one of our feel-good hormones. It affects that immune system, that 80% of the immune system that relies on our GI tract. So for me, the GI tract is core. And since stress can have a huge effect on the GI tract, it's really important to manage that to some level.
Right. So, and sleep.
Sleep, yes. There's been some studies that show that even one night of bad sleep can deplete your immune system by about 40%. One night. Yeah, so sleep is really important as well. Getting good quality sleep.
So your gut and gut function are important, because if 90% of serotonin is made in the gut, and we're not sleeping well because the gut's out of balance or stressed or eating poorly, that's going to be a huge factor in how you sleep.
That's right. And a lot of people will say, well, I didn't sleep well, but I'm not tired, so it's okay. Or, I don't eat the healthiest food, but I don't feel bad. Some of these things are kind of more, you see things in the future, you see things happen in the future based on what you're doing today.
Right.
But also, I think a lot of people are surprised how much better they feel when they do change their eating habits, sleep habits, exercise habits on a more immediate level as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, the one of the things that people really acclimate is things like, like the new normal. Everybody talks about the new normal. Do you know how fast we acclimate to the new normal? So if we have, it just poor sleep and don't even realize it, because I feel fine. A lot of times patients really don't notice a difference until they feel better, because they are sleeping better or they're eating better or because of their treatments or whatever. And then they just say, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Because normal was not feeling good, but they didn't realize it.
Right. They accepted it. Never
Right.
accept your new normal.
Well, you know, I can attest to that personally, because when I was younger, I used to have 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock would come, and I would have no energy left. I would have like a mild headache, but I didn't know I had a headache. I didn't know. I thought everybody felt that way. You know, you don't know.
So
Because
that's kind of interesting.
that's your experience.
Right. So that's interesting. You and I have never had this conversation. You know, for those of y'all who don't know, we're sisters, is that
Right.
I didn't realize that I had migraines as a teenager. I didn't know they were migraines. I just was wondering, why does my head hurt while I'm walking on the pavement? You know, hitting the pavement.
Yeah, why isn't it my foot that hurts? Yeah.
Right. I was like, I had no idea it was a headache or a migraine or anything like that. So interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And it's not until, you know, I became healthier because of my habits that I realized, wow, you know, that was no way to live.
No, exactly. It's exhausting.
Yes.
Yeah. It's nice to have, you know, we don't realize how many things we compromise in our life when we don't have energy or don't feel good. And that's where the catch kind of comes in, is because if you've just accepted your new normal is also not going and not calling your mom, not calling your friend, not calling, you know, not going out. I had one patient who was like, you know, I didn't even realize I was turning people down for coffee, you know, in the morning because I just didn't feel good, or it didn't, but she didn't realize it. It was just her new normal. No, I don't really feel like it. And she was just thinking that's just what I prefer to do, is to stay home.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, when you start feeling good and you start really reaching out.
Well, and the funny thing is, I think the better you feel, the more you want to do to help yourself feel better.
Good point.
So just starting somewhere is really important. It doesn't, you know, you don't have to turn your life upside down overnight.
Right.
You know, just find one thing. And when you start feeling better because you're changing that one thing, you're going to want to change other things in your life.
I think that's a great example too, is that you don't want to set yourself up for failure. So don't say, I'm going to clean out my entire pantry and I'm going to give up sugar and coffee and carbohydrates, and I'm going to exercise every day, and I'm going to meditate every day. You know, that's pretty overwhelming and pretty much, you know, setting yourself up for failure. So manage.
And when you're talking about stress, how much stress does that cause you to be under, to feel like you have to now live up to that bar you've set for yourself?
Right. Absolutely. And especially if you told everyone.
Yeah. Right. I posted it on Facebook. I have to do it now.
Right. So you were saying, so there's the gut brain connection on the immune system, and how important it is and how much it compromises it. What else were you saying?
Well, I think, you know, I think the kind of take home from that is to realize how important your GI tract is and how important it is to be good to your GI tract. And, you know, everything we do in life does impact our gastrointestinal tract, is kind of the take home from that.
Yes.
So, you know, when you're grabbing for that carbohydrate, that bag of pretzels, that junk food, when you're, you know, when you're deciding, you know, I don't need to exercise, when you're letting yourself get sucked into some kind of stress, you know, you just kind of have to realize that how much it's impacting your GI tract and how kind of core that is. Because I also think that there's something very central and something very on a mental emotional level about our GI tract. We protect it. We like to protect it. We're, you know, that defensive motion, like a posture that we go in when we're defensive, is kind of rounding our body and protecting it. And so I think on a very gut level, I think that we all are very very on an unconscious level kind of know how important it is. And it's just kind of raising it more to a conscious level of awareness of how important it is.
I think that's a really, really great insight, because I think how many times do we not listen to our intuition? And I think you're really talking about consciousness and awareness and conscious choice and taking responsibility for our choices, that they are truly choices, and that we just really do need to step up a bit and take some responsibility on those choices, because it's, you know, we live in a society of immediate gratification. So knowing that you're actually doing something for your future and for your future health and how you feel and how you live your life, you know, as you age or get older or next week, that it's essential.
Yes. Yeah. And I also think it's important also to not own whatever you're going through, whether it's what we're going through now and not owning the fact that there's something dangerous out there that you have to protect yourself from, or owning symptom that you have, or owning, just to realize it's a temporary situation, whatever it is,
right?
It will resolve itself. You need to take responsibility, like you said, in doing what you can do and getting whatever help you need to get in order to get to the other side of it. But anything can be temporary.
Right. I think that's
a decision you make.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point as well. I mean, you're just knocking off those really essential, deep things that we really do need to bring to consciousness on an everyday level. And I think you're spot on when you talk about the consciousess of owning something and having it be our story. Yeah. Buy another story and buy a different.
Right. There's many out there that you can buy into.
That's right. As you obviously know, I did a lot of my own suffering with Crohn's disease, and I really don't like to say, I never really, like to say I have Crohn's disease. I feel like that makes me own it. As some type of identifier for myself. And in the reality of it is that I don't have Crohn's disease. I had symptoms of Crohn's disease that are now 100% resolved. In Western medicine, it might be considered that in remission. I just feel like it's whatever it was. I took a lot of action steps to resolve it. And had a lot of help in resolving it, and it's like off my plate. So, we can stay in that for a long, long, long time.
Temporary experience.
That's exactly right.
Your experience. Yes.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I like that. And I think the other thing is too, is one point that you were making as well is that if you in this process of making these conscious choices and changes is to correct and continue. If you don't have a good day, don't beat yourself up on it. Don't own that either. Just acknowledge it, let it go, move on. Better choice next time, right?
Right. Don't make it your Groundhog Day.
Exactly. Right. I like that. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Is because we tend to do that. Well, I already did this yesterday, or I already did this morning. I may as well, I'll start tomorrow. Right? Yeah, right. The epitome of Groundhog Day right there.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Oh, did you see my bear?
Yeah.
So that's good. So some parting words on that are really kind of those three things is, don't own it. Correct and continue, don't make it Groundhog Day, and make some choices. Right?
Right. And you don't have to overwhelm yourself with all the choices and changes you're going to make. Make it manageable.
Excellent. And so, and then to just kind of come full circle, we were talking about the gut and how important it is to the immune system. So all of those steps help to make your gut better, which makes your immune system better, which makes your sleep better, which makes your life better.
Makes your brain better. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like, for one, to have my brain functioning as I move in, I'm in the 60s moment. So,
Right. Yeah, I don't mind living to 100 as long as everything's functioning, right?
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And so
Yes.
brain function is really, really important I know
Yes.
both of us.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe a future discussion would be blood-brain barrier and epigenetics, that kind of thing.
I actually think that would be a great one. We'll schedule that one.
Okay.
Good. So our parting words are to make choices, right?
Make choices, and be thankful for, and write down things you're thankful for on a daily basis.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.